We are forming the world's first brain trust that will operate at the speed of trust. And what I mean by that is there has never been a time in our world, in my humble view, that we need to come closer together and stay united in action, both the elder and the youth, to not just make the impossible possible, but look at the real world need of love, consciousness, and the global goals that matter more than just the UN global goals. I believe that we do not have a resource or a technology problem. What we have here and now is a leadership crisis. And with the right kind of leadership and the right kind of spirited leadership, I feel like the greatest global grand challenge that faces us here and now is consciousness itself. To frame that in its core is, how do we learn to love? How do we love each other without fear or favor? How do we learn to give to one another as a force for good? And most importantly, how do we learn to trust one another? How do we really create a space which is both safe as well as brave? One of my favorite quotes in the world is, courage is not the absence of fear, but the judgment that something more important, like love and compassion, can bring us closer together. The brave may not live forever, but the cautious do not live at all. Now that's for the scientists in here who are very cautious. And we have some of the best minds in science. We have some of the best minds at heart who've lived their experiences through mental health. Today is about reimagining global mental health, leadership, and well-being to unlock our infinite human potential, both of the mind as well as the lived experience of the body. And to do this through AI, neuroscience, and consciousness itself. To tell the stories as well as backed by some of the science work that all the scientists have worked so hard to do, evidence-based science, to really understand not only the problem and share some of the pain and suffering, but also dive into the solutions. Right next to you is someone who's also a legend in his own field of reversing the age of brain. You know, I'd love, Dr. Pradeep Albert, you and Vijay are doing some unbelievable work. There's a lot of synergy in this room. I feel it from a cross-pollination perspective. Right? There's divergent convergence. You don't have to be a doctor to work with another doctor. You don't have to be a technologist to work with another technologist. You know, a spiritual scientist could work with you, right? Like Dr. Lisa Miller, or a miracle woman like Anna Yusum. Just saying. The idea here is to really look at that cross-dimensional ability to cross-pollinate ideas and then turn them into some kind of tangible, transformative technology or reason why we're here, right? And Dr. Pradeep Albert, I'd love for you to jump in and talk. You have to press the and come to the mic and put it out. Yeah, exactly. You can get close to the mic.
Okay, let's see if my mind-body connection works
a little bit
Is this
more.
okay?
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Your body-mic connection.
Yes, my body-mic connection. Okay, great. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. And I'll be talking to you guys just very quickly about a mind-body connection with, on a cellular level, on a molecular level. We always think about the body and the mind, and when we talk about mental health, invariably we talk about the brain and the nervous system. But frankly, we're a whole, and we talk about, I'm a physician, and I'm a cellular molecular physician. We're doing some really interesting research on this whole mind-body connection. So back in 2017, there was an article that was published about which very much intrigued me, because the kind of work I was doing is mostly in musculoskeletal medicine, arthritis and things of that nature, with stem cells and regeneration of tissue. But in 2017, it was just a case report that came out of Japan, where a young man that had been suffering from schizophrenia had a bone marrow transplant, and his schizophrenia was recalcitrant to any kind of therapy. And the bone marrow transplant cured him of schizophrenia, shockingly. So, you can, I think it's in several journals, but we can, you can look it up. So what brought to my, I was working in stem cells. Stem cells are, the very essence of life. We're born with a certain amount of stem cells, and as we get older, we multiply them, and we run out of cells, we die. The idea is that we infuse people with a certain amount of stem cells, and it makes you, for the lack of a better word, somewhat younger, or rejuvenates you. Now, from a mind point of view, we think about of everything as the brain, the brain, the brain. But frankly, we're finding out it's not just the brain. We're a milieu of different things. There are biochemical processes that are happening. For example, if you have a liver failure, you'll have psychosis. Or the same thing with kidney failure. All these organs kind of work together, and the idea is that we're taking these stem cells, we're extracting neural growth factors, brain-derived growth factors, and infusing them both intrathecally, which means into the spinal canal, as well as intravenously, which crosses the blood-brain barrier, and kind of helping bring down inflammatory processes in the brain. We're at the very beginning of the stage of this type of work. We're in, we went from phase 1 to phase 2, and we're going to start bringing those technologies into the United States. But currently, we're very, very early in this, and we're seeing some incredible results in patients that have a multitude of disorders. I want to just leave with this. The ancient Egyptians used to sit on the bank of the Nile, and they would chew the bark of a willow tree, and they felt better. And the Germans synthesized aspirin, which is from the willow tree, in the 1800s. So with these stem cells, I'm not sure if it's interleukin 10. I'm not sure if it's TNF alpha. I'm not sure what inflammatory, anti-inflammatory cytokines are helping reduce inflammatory changes to the brain, which actually improves mood, etc. But are we closer to the Egyptians, where we're just chewing on this and we're just injecting random things into people to figure out what's going on? Or are we closer to the Germans, where we're kind of figuring out what is needed to be, help the body heal? I believe we're probably closer to the Germans than we are to the Egyptians. It's a 4,000-year gap. So I'm very excited that this technology exists, and we're exploring it, and I'm honored to be here today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.